Hello everyone, Luxanse here, your coach of the Groningen Gallades, or the FC Groningen Gallades, and today I am here for my BBL Season 3 Draft Analysis. Now, BBL is a league created by Aaron2420, which is a very good friend of mine, and he actually allowed me to play in the Wi-Fi section of his league, as he runs it as half Wi-Fi, half Showdown, I think. There's a Showdown version, and there's a Wi-Fi version. I got to be in the Wi-Fi version, with an amazing lineup of coaches, might I add, because I should not be in this, to be honest, looking at the other coaches, but Aaron allowed me to be in here, which, thank you, Aaron, I thank you greatly for that, as a fellow weeb. And BBL stands for Banlist Battlers League, which means we get to use some Ubers once again, and this season in particular, got quite crazy with the Ubers, as pretty much everything is allowed aside from, I think, Mega Rayquaza, which is just everything in Ubers is allowed. Which is insane to think about. Primal Groudon, across my Duskmane, everything in Ubers I'm pretty sure was allowed. Except for Geomancies or Arceus. That's the one thing, as that's so hard to prep for in Draft League. Either way, so we actually got a very good pick at 3rd overall out of 16 coaches. And out of all the mons that were there, I decided, let's grab Kyogre. 35 points. We had a budget of 110, so that's just straight up a third of my points gone. Nowhere to be found. They're all in this aquarium fish right here. Now, you might ask, why didn't you pick Primal Groudon? Why didn't you pick Necrozma Duskmane? As those are, I personally think, the only two that are, indefinitely better than Kyogre. But there's a very simple reason why. And as I used to play Ubers, I got tired of seeing those mons, as they're pretty much in every game. Necrozma Duskmane and Primal Groudon are very omnipresent in Ubers. So, I just kinda, wanted to stray away from those, so I grabbed something that I was really interested in using, which is Kyogre, and something that I haven't used before per se, and which was the next best thing as well after Primal Groudon and Necrozma Duskmane, in my opinion at least. As Kyogre is an insane mon, a Scarf Water Spout. What's your switch in? What is your switch into a Scarf Modest Water Spout from a Kyogre? They barely exist, let me tell you. And I have the best one, I'd argue, that isn't an immunity like Water Absorb. You need to draft something specifically for this mon, and if that thing gets killed, you are screwed. And I love that. And even then, I might not even run Scarf Water Spout. I can run Specs Water Spout. But all jokes aside, Kyogre is incredibly versatile, being able to use stuff like Calm Mind setup with sub, or an AV set, can even go physical, and just has so much it can do, which I love incredibly. I'm going to name this thing Seraphol, because of Seraphol Leviathan from High School DxD, which I personally find a very enjoyable character to watch. I don't have names for all of these, by the way. I'm just gonna list the ones that I do have, and the other ones I'll find something during the season. As I said, our first pick is Kyogre. Incredibly expensive, but I'll take it. Next up, after this amazing special offensive god, I decided we need some physical offense. And who better than the mascot pick himself, Mega Gallade. Now, as you can tell from the logo right next to it, I quite like Mega Gallade. It is my favorite Pokemon, Gallade in general is. I really love this mon. It looks so cool. I'm a huge weeb, and ever since I was little already, I loved swords. I love the aesthetic of swords. So then Game Freak decided, Game Freak, they decided, hey, let's make a mon with swords, but they're on his elbows. Now, if you take a little kid that loves swords, loves how they look, and then put swords on something, it's already cool. But then you put swords in an abstract place, he's like, oh my god, this is so creative. This is like the best thing they've ever made. And then they gave it a cape. Like, they gave it a fucking cape. Like, they just made him a superhero. Gallade is my superhero. Either way, Gallade provides us with a good speed tier of a 110, 165 base attack, sword dance setup, bulk up setup, incredible coverage, and Gallade just kind of stomps. Gallade is one of those mons that can keep up with Ubers besides not being one, surely because of how strong it is. I love that, and it is my favorite Pokemon, so I had to grab it. I've never even used Mega Gallade on this channel yet. I've never used him in a Wi-Fi league yet. It is a fallacy for me not to use him when my team name is the FC Groningen Gallades, or Groningen Gallades, because people, it's kind of annoying that people can't pronounce it, because I started to pronounce it the way they do, and it's just like, that's not how I should pronounce it, because that's not the right pronunciation. But I do it now anyway. So, Gallade is right here. And next, something which in my opinion complements Rain quite well, because that was the main idea that I had with my draft. I wanted complement stuff with Kyogre. So think of Rain, think of stuff that would help Kyogre break through certain things or kill certain things for Kyogre. And a great physical offense that just kind of stomps on stuff really helps. Next up, we have Zapdos, which I love Zapdos. It's a really cool mon. It is very good defensively, but especially with Kyogre, I think it can have some amazing offensive prowess, being able to spam Thunder in the rain if I so choose to use Zapdos offensively with Kyogre. But even then, it has great defensive capabilities with Roost, it has Defog, it has Static for physical attackers, and it's just incredibly bulky. Discharge as well. I mean, Thunder's technically just a stronger Discharge at this point when I'm in the rain, so I will probably use Thunder quite a lot. Either way, Zapdos, really nice. Also gives me a nice speed tier right in between Kyogre and Mega Gallade, giving me 90, 100, and 110 right now, which is really good, and also gives me a ground immunity, which can help for... I don't actually think I have a single mon weak to ground on my team, now I think of it. That is something revolutionary for me. That's not something that happens often. Either way, I really like Zapdos for this team. Like, I think it just fits really well. Can't really explain it because following picks kind of do that better for me, I think. So let's just get on to the next one. Dugtrio. Now, there's two types that are effective against Kyogre. One of them is grass. Dugtrio sucks against that. The other is electric, and that is where Dugtrio comes in. Fuck your electric type, I'm trapping it and clicking Earthquake on it. Also, fuck your Primal Groudon, I'm trapping it and clicking Earthquake on it. So, Dugtrio is really nice for me here, as I will be able to trap some essential mons for Kyogre, so it has an easier time of just kind of winning, clicking buttons, doing what a Kyogre does best. And Dugtrio, I feel, again, really helps with speed tiers as well, because 90, 100, 110, 120. We just systematically got rid of all those speed tiers, and now anything I need to creep quite heavily, which I really like. So, another cool thing about this league is that everything 16 points and below can use Z, I'm pretty sure. So, this is a Z user. Zapdos is a Z user, which is incredibly nice for me, and I don't have to worry about having to make this my Z captain and not being able to make some of my later picks my Z users, as Dugtrio is an amazing Z user as well. And it doesn't get the greatest coverage, but the fact that it can trap can really help, especially in Ubers, I think, as you can just remove a single threat that really stops your Uber, or even remove their Uber if they, like, say I face a Necrozma Duskmane, right? And it's kind of fucking over my team. Focus Dugtrio is like, let's say the Necrozma Duskmane is like half. I just click Earthquake. Thing is gone. No threat to the team. It can't even switch out. It can't be pressured out. So that is really nice for me. Next up, we have Fortress. Now, again, Rain. We weaken Fire with it, which is very nice for Fortress. It gives me every type of hazard, which Dugtrio also provides one. And something also very nice about Fortress is that it can also remove hazards. So, not only can I set Stealth Rock spikes and Toxic spikes now, which is incredible, Mega Gallade, Kyogre, Dugtrio all really appreciate that chip from hazards onto their targets, and then being able to remove hazards while keeping theirs is also very nice, especially when I have the option of like Toxic spikes and spikes as well. And something that is very nice about Fortress as well is that it gets a Volt Switch. It's a slow Volt Switch into stuff like Kyogre, Mega Gallade, and even into Dugtrio, which is incredible. And being able to like Volt Switch out on a Magnet Pool, Magnet Zone, and just going out into Dugtrio and killing it. You know? Stuff like that is what makes Fortress really useful in my opinion on this team. The fact that Fire gets reduced by Rain from Kyogre is also very nice, as Fire is its only weakness and it is already a great physical wall, but now it will be able to take HP Fires a bit better as well, especially if I make it specially defensive, which is decent for Fortress. Now I can even use AV sets, I've done that before, so Fortress is going to be a huge part of some of my wins, I feel. Next up, we get some more Rain, Ludicolo, which is the best Kyogre switch in the game that is not an immunity. As this is like the one thing that quad resists Kyogre's Water Spout and isn't weak to like Thunder or Ice Beam, while also having good special defense. We got this boy. And on top of that, on top of eliminating a good Kyogre switch in from the draft board, we got a Rain Sweeper, which complements well with Kyogre. We got a Rain quote-unquote stall mod, I guess, because Subseed with like Rain Dish can actually put in some work, because Leech Seed plus Rain Dish plus Leftovers just gives you back a sub, I'm pretty sure, which is quite interesting, so I'll probably be using that sometimes as well. But Ludicolo is just mainly a Rain Sweeper. I think it's going to perform quite well, especially since everything can use Z. Now, Ludicolo usually prefers to have like Life Orb to break through teams on its own, or to clean teams on its own. Either way, I think it's going to do great. And next up, we actually have one of my favorite mons on this team. It is Armaldo. I completely forgot all the names. Oh well. I'll list those off at the end. We have Armaldo here, which again really appreciates that everything can use Z. In the rain, this thing has a threat. I think it has like 125 base attack, and it can run Choice Band, Life Orb, Z. This thing is just a monster in rain. I think it's really going to perform well with Kyogre, as it is a rain mon that is not actually a water type as well, which makes me not double up on types, which I'm very thankful for, and is a bug type that's not weak to the common bug moves, as it is also the common bug weaknesses, as it's also a rock type, which is incredibly nice. It does give me another Stealth Rock, a weak mon, but it also gives me another Stealth Rocker, giving me 3 Stealth Rockers so far, and also gives me more hazard removal, having now 3 hazard removers, which I think is quite nice. So, somewhat versed on mon, great Rain Sweeper in my opinion, and I think it's going to have a lot of fun moments on this team. And next up, we have the GOAT, Goatpa, Drampa. I'm probably just gonna name this thing Danza, to be honest. But we have a Drampa right here, which I looked at my team and I saw, okay, we have a lot of physical offense with Mega Galley, Dugtrio, Armaldo, and our special offense right now is 2 water types and an electric type. I want some more special offense. Drampa provides that. It specs Dracos, just nuke things. And another reason why I really wanted Drampa was because of Cloud9. Now, Cloud9 stops weather effects. And you might think that's not good with Kyogre. It is not, but if I am out against, say, a Groudon, I can Cloud9, stop the weather effects, at least from applying to Drampa, and just pop a surf through, kill whatever's in front of me with that, and it will be great. So I really think Drampa is, though it's a bit niche of course, I think it's going to do really well. It's also a Dragon Normal type that can use Defog, and that's insane coverage. Because coverage is really weird. And on top of all this, Drampa has a Grass immunity, which is very nice for Kyogre. And just being able to probably just spam Specs Dracos and Specs Hyper Voices is going to be very useful, I think. Next up, second to last mon, Togetic. Togetic is another defogger, as my one reliable defogger at this point was Zapdos, and we have one reliable Rapid Spinner in Fortress. We did have Drampa and Armaldo for hazard removal, but I don't feel quite comfortable with that, as I don't want to force it on Zapdos or Fortress, as Armaldo and Drampa don't usually like to carry those moves, especially not on this team. But I think Togetic is going to do fine. Eviolite also makes it quite bulky, being able to actually take on, well, not take on, but take hits from some Ubers. Wish is very nice as well, being able to heal up potentially like a Water Spout Kyogre, to give back more health, to make a Water Spout do more damage, to heal up Gallade if it needs to heal up a Focus Sash Dugtrio. It also gets Heal Bell, which is very nice for like burns on Gallade, Dugtrio, Armaldo. It's just an incredibly nice cleric to have, and I really needed a cleric. Also gives me another ground immunity, which is quite nice. Not needed, but still nice. And I think it's going to do amazing on this team. And now last but not least, we have Liepard. Now Liepard was mainly a pick of mine because I didn't want to get swept by stuff like Stored Power or just by Psychic types in general, because Psychic types do kind of well against my team. Having one resist to it being Fortress, which is not the best resist to stuff like Psychic, of course. Having Liepard really helps with that, I think. And Prankster can be really useful against some of the Ubers that are out there. So, last but not least, names. Kyogre, as I said, is going to be Seraphol Leviathan from High School DxD. Then we have Mega Gallade, which is going to be Kyla Hyakuya from Owagi no Seraph. Then we have Denki Kaminagi, the Zapdos from My Hero Academia. I don't actually know what I'm going to name my... Oh no, wait. I was going to name... What was it? Buta from Gurren Lagann. Fortress, I was going to name Cabaneri for Cabaneri Iron Fortress. Ludicolo is just going to be named Mirror B, because what else do you name a Ludicolo, you know? There is no other name for Ludicolo. We have Armaldo, which I don't know what I'm going to name. It's kind of a wacky mon, you know? So, it's kind of out there. I still need to think of a name for Drampa. As I said, it's probably just going to be named Danza, as Danza is the Drampa goat, let's be honest. Togetic, again, don't really have a name for an Liepard. I'm probably just going to name again, Hoshizora, maybe something else, because there's some other, like, cat girls or boys that I could name it after, like Chocolate from Nakapara, or, can't think of anything, like Felix from ReZero or something, you know? There's enough that I can name this, but either way, this was my BBL Draft Analysis. What's an analysis? I'm stupid. This was my BBL draft analysis. See you guys in week 1. Peace out.